can lower the mic if you want.
Mhm.
In the front, I'm gonna give you a time. Sorry. Okay.
So we'll start at 45.
Start right now.
Okay.
Yes, we go.
All right. I hope everything's working. It's great to be here and see the AI community in Rochester. I'll do a little bit of introduction to myself. I'm a PhD student at University of Rochester Computer Science, and for the past 2 years, I've been working on a project. It started as part of my PhD thesis, but we saw the potential could be much bigger, and we are trying to spin it out as a startup company, which is called Sensation.io.
Move the screen share. See that up there?
Oh, right.
Drag it. Yeah.
Thank you, Max and Ivan, for the introduction. So I'm going to start with a little bit of introduction by myself. I grew up in a rural village in Bangladesh, and I went to a public school there, and my classroom looked kind of like this. Not exactly this one, but something similar, the closest thing that I could find in Google Images. So when I was in my second grade, my school sent a letter to my parents telling that I'm not attentive to my classroom and they should take me away and take me to a different school. So why was that? So the classrooms were very big. It was like 60 to 80 students, and the teacher barely knew anyone's name. And I was a very curious type of child. I wanted to learn more, but I didn't get the attention from the classes. And eventually, when the letter came into my house and my parents were worried, and they decided to give me a private tutor, which continued until my middle school. And the reason that I am a computer scientist and I'm working on AI today is because of the opportunity I got back then. So the classroom that I went to, they were not interactive and they were not personalized. I had a lot of questions in my mind, but I didn't have a place to ask it. They had a lot of things to do. They had too many students and they had to move on with their lectures. What I want you to take away from the story is this two words: interactive and personalized. So what is interactive, and what can interactive mean in terms of technology? So a static versus interactive could be just looking at a photo of an art or a photo of nature, or being in nature, touching the nature and being fully present in it. And what could be like a personalized versus non-personalized, like a cloth that doesn't fit. We're going to go into much more detail into that, but this is something, a very basic idea. Now, the problem that I faced in my childhood, that's not just for me. It's going to come for everybody. Because of AI, there's going to be a seismic shift in the labor market. The jobs that we had in the past, many of them are going to go away. That happens with every new technology. It's nothing to be scared of, but we need to be prepared. We will have to keep learning. We will have to keep preparing ourselves to the new world, the new jobs that pops up. We'll have to shift the population from the older to the newer one, and which is going to take a lot of learning. And everybody is going to come from many different backgrounds and experiences. So if someone is a waitress and she wants to learn programming language JavaScript, it's going to be very different from someone who knows C++ and they want to learn JavaScript. So this shift in the labor market and the transformation in education, this has to be personalized and this has to be interactive. And the traditional educational institutions, they're not keeping up. Student loan is already sky high, and imagine going back to school when you're 40 or 50 to go back and learn a new skill. So that's not a viable solution. Online learning, online courses, that's a pretty good option. But still, online courses are not personalized. They don't know about you. They don't know about your experience. The online courses doesn't adapt to what you know and don't know and what you want to learn. If you have a question, if you're doing an online class and you have a question to ask, good luck asking on the forum, or good luck asking on Stack Overflow if you have seen the memes. So what we would like to give you a sneak peek, what education could look like when it is personalized and interactive. So this is a concept demo video from our platform. It started, our research project is called Sapien, and our startup company is called Senshin.io. So I'm going to play and volume on the. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, let's try. Okay. So, sorry. Imagine an online learning platform where instead of going there and picking a course, you can tell what you want to learn, and the platform designs the course based on you. Like, I want to learn artificial intelligence and I want to learn it in 10 classes. And the AI generates an entire course structure for you. It generates the classes, it generates the syllabus, and then you pick one of those classes. And voila, then you're connected with a virtual teacher.
Hello, could you please explain neural networks to me?
Oh, the
Sound.
output is
I did that.
what we did it smooth.
Let's try. Sorry for that. Output. Yeah, sound is very important.
Yes. Mix system.
Oh, okay.
Sound effects, but maybe just close it and try it again.
Me in a couple sentences.
Okay, great. All right, so back on track. So you have the generated course, you pick a lecture, and you get connected with a virtual teacher.
Hello, could you please explain neural networks to me in a couple sentences?
Sure. Neural networks are computer models that work like the human brain. They use interconnected nodes to process information and can be trained to recognize patterns or make predictions. The training process involves adjusting internal parameters to minimize errors between predicted and actual outputs using a method called backpropagation.
Could you elaborate on backpropagation a little bit? I still don't really understand.
Of course, backpropagation is an algorithm that calculates the gradient of the loss function with respect to each weight in the neural network. This gradient information is then used to update the weights in a direction that reduces the loss function. Essentially, it allows the network to learn from its mistakes and improve its performance over time.
And when the lecture is done, based on the lecture, based on the conversation that the user had with the AI generates a quiz for the user. It's not just from some pre-recorded quizzes, not something that selected before, but whatever they discussed, and the whole conversation flows as whatever the user wants to learn. Maybe you're learning physics and the teacher says something in math and you ask a math question, and then your lecture shifts to math, and then you learn a little bit of math and come back to physics. So your quiz is going to be on the physics topics and the math topics that that you discussed in your lecture. So it's completely personalized. It changes based on how you interact with it. And after you're done, then you get this quiz that is also generated based on what you just interacted with. By the way, the person who was talking, he was one of my co-founder and an undergrad student at UFR who works with me. His name is Sammy. And when you get the quiz, you get an evaluation of how well you did. So that's a sneak peek. We're going to do it live, and one of the audience member will have to come and try. So as a computer scientist, I get tempted to give you a little bit of sneak peek, a little bit of diagram. Sorry if you get overwhelmed by it, but I would like to have some idea what goes on inside a system like this. So this project started about 1.5 years ago, and I proposed this idea to my professor that I said, like, hey, you know, this AI is coming up. ChatGPT wasn't a thing back then. That was GPT-3. GPT-3 was very new, and it was so much promising, but most people didn't realize what potential it held. So I told my professor, hey, you know, there's this really cool AI model came out, and we can have it talk about anything we want. So how about I make an AI that can talk for education and training? And he said, no, it's too complicated. Don't try. So I made this as a side project with my team, and I showed it to him, and he got blown away. And that kind of became my main project right after then. So I'll give you a sneak peek of how it's working internally. So none of this would have happened without the language models that OpenAI has graciously trained and made it open and accessible to everyone else. So every time a user speaks something, it goes into a microphone, and speech is then using a speech-to-text model. It's transcribed to text, and the text is sent to a language model. And the language model, we prompt the language model to give, like, what would you respond to this text based on this situation, based on this user's experience, based on this user's previous interaction? What would you respond to this? And we also have the previous history, some user-defined parameters, like this is what you should talk about and shouldn't talk about, some system guardrails that there are certain things that we don't want the AI to talk about. So we want more control. So we have a little more control. And the AI generates the response, but at the same time, it also generates the emotion of the virtual avatar. So the avatar reacts based on the conversation context. It reacts emotionally. It expresses joy, sadness, anger, some human feelings that connects you with the computer. So it generates that emotion as well. And we, on the other end, this part is the main contribution for that we did, that we created our in-house facial expression motion capture database and motion capture system. Basically, I had to record myself doing different emotions. And based on the emotion that we have to express, we pick up the right emotion from a database and send it to the AI to express. And that goes into a game engine, and the game engine renders that entire virtual avatar on real time. So this is kind of a very oversimplification of how our system works. Now, if you look at this diagram, it's very hard to tell, but there is nothing in this diagram that tells that this has to be about education. What if everything is interactive and personalized? Can the internet be interactive and personalized? So a little sidetrack, why interactive is important. Like, this is the fancy thing, wishy-washy thing that we're talking about. Okay, yeah, it would be nice to have interactive media and interactive entertainment, but is that does it hold a real market value? So this is a little bit of statistics. that I was surprised when I first heard it. That is, the video game industry is bigger than the movie industry and the music industry and the sports industry combined. That's how big an interactive media could be. That's how the market demand for interactivity is. So basically, Minecraft is more valuable than Taylor Swift. So that's where we are. Interactive media is important and it needs to happen. And this is because of the rise of generative AI. This is the first time we have the capacity to make it. And that's where my platform comes in, which we're calling Sensation.io. We're proposing a content creation platform that is interactive and personalized. So imagine YouTube, where there's a content creator who creates a nice video, gives a nice thumbnail, gives a nice title, posts the video, and it goes to millions of their users, and they use it. They play a video, they just watch it. They're a passive consumer, and they're done watching and they close it. There's no engagement from the audience. What if we could make that engaging? What if we could make that interactive? What if you could talk to your favorite content creator, not just listen to them? Now, the fun part. I'd like to do a demo for our system, and I'd like to have a volunteer. Yes, you're very excited. Okay, so yeah, this is live demo. It's always something happens. I hope it's
Demo gods.
yeah.
Demo gods, treat us well.
So this is our website. It's in research now, research beta right now, so I can't share with you all. But if you go to Sensation.io, there's an interest form, and you can fill that up and put your email address. So whenever we go live, you'll be the first people to know it. So right now I'm going to demo. Please come in. I'm going to demo our research prototype. So imagine, remember the YouTube type platform, content platform that we talked about? So these are the first 4 different type of content that we created, but eventually we're going to make it in a way that anyone can create this content. Say we have this 4 different tasks for now, which is job interview, academic topics, learning different language. Our bot speaks currently 13 language. Potentially it will speak 102. Also, it's a crowd pleaser. It's speed dating. So we have this 4 that we created, but eventually we will allow other content creators to create this kind of new content. Like imagine someone who works at Google, they make a job interview section specifically for Google job interviews. So that's going to be much more valuable than a generic job interview. So the content creators will create this kind of content, put it in the platform, and other users will use it, and the creators will receive a commission out of it. So what's your name?
Tony.
Tony. Yeah, we met.
Yes.
So from this 4, which one would you like to try?
Academic topics.
All right, let's go to academic topics. So here you have to enter a topic and it's going to tutor you on that topic. It's not the best, we're still working on it, but it's a proof of concept for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So what would you like to learn?
AI art.
We saw that demo.
Yeah.
Maybe do you want something specific?
How you can render it into a video.
How you can render AI into a video?
Yes.
That's could be a little complicated, but yeah, we can go AI. So we can go artificial intelligence, and you choose the language. We have 13 now, and you click next. And would you like to choose your tutor?
Yes.
Go ahead. It's all yours. click to accept. And you press the space button to speak and release the space button to finish.
Yes, okay.
Maybe go to the mic.
Hi, I was wondering, what can you tell me about artificial intelligence?
Hello, Masum. It's great to hear that you are interested in artificial intelligence. AI is a fascinating field that involves creating intelligent machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and language translation. Would you like me to give you an overview of the different types of AI?
No, but I do have a question. How is AI used to create comics for someone who doesn't really understand the basis of artificial intelligence?
Sure, go ahead and ask your question.
Sorry,
Okay.
missed.
How is AI used to create comics for people who want a better understanding of how AI used to create personal stories?
That's an interesting question, Masum. AI can be used in many creative ways, including generating comics and stories. There are various techniques and algorithms that can be used to create these stories, such as natural language processing, machine learning, and neural networks. Some companies are already using AI to generate comic strips based on user input or certain themes. However, it's important to note that the quality of the stories generated by AI may not always be up to par with those created by human writers and artists.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to know about AI, Masum?
No, that is all.
Do you wanna?
Okay, feel free to reach out to me if you have any more questions in the future. Have a great day.
So you wouldn't like to miss the quiz, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So it was calling Masum because it's logged in with my email address. But if you used it with yours, you'll call you by your name. Okay, so question 1.
Okay, it says, what are artificial intelligence creating? So there's really no all of the above, is there? I'm just saying, because it's like these all apply to some form of AI.
Creating intelligent machine that can perform tasks typically require human intelligence. Creating machines that can only perform tasks human intelligence can do.
No,
I mean, no.
that's actually A.
Okay, go.
And then what are tasks that AI can perform? Visual, speech recognition, decision making, language translation. And then you submit it.
No, there are more.
Oh, there are? So wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Okay.
I am new to this, so you have to give me some leeway
Yeah,
here.
sorry for that.
How is AI used to create in comics? And sorry, I use
An answer, a correct answer is it depends.
oh. Oh, where? Oh. Oh, okay. And you can't click on it.
Oh yeah, it's already done. It's graded already.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Thank you, Tony, for trying.
No problem. Thank you.
See you. I think we have time for a lot more demos. So there are many other things that we can do with it. Academic topic is one of them we're pursuing. So imagine if you have a job interview and you'd like to perform your best. What if the virtual human takes your resume as an input and then takes the actual job description as an input and then designs the entire like takes your interview based on your resume and based on exactly the job that you'd like to apply for. And then you practice the conversation as many times as you want, as you wish. And after that, it gives you feedback, what you did right, what you could improve. and you can repeat as long as you feel comfortable, and then you finally go to the real job. So would anyone like to try this out? We would need your resume if you can. Okay. Who'd like to do? Oh, okay. You'd like? Yes. Can you email me your resume? Okay. Okay. Oh. All right. So who wants to try out their Riz? Please, Ivan, come in. Yes. Let's go.
My girlfriend's very cool with stuff like this.
Okay.
The future is weird. What do I do? I guess we're gonna start speed dating here. Yeah?
Yeah, just
Okay.
click. So there are a little bit of glitch. It's because of the internet connection. I have to do it over my phone because the Wi-Fi isn't that great.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll just choose any model I see here. Like, I don't even know what the term is. What is it? Who are
Digital human.
digital human? All right.
Press the space button to speak and release to finish.
Hey,
Hi, Masum. It's great to meet you. How are you doing today?
good. Don't you feel a little weird about this too?
Not really, actually. I think it's exciting to meet new people and see if we have a connection. What about you?
Do you think you can form real connections even though you're not a human being?
I believe that meaningful connections can be formed regardless of whether one is a human being or not. As a sapient digital human, I am designed to interact with humans and learn from our conversations. Plus, as technology continues to advance, more and more people are open to the idea of forming connections with AI. So, let's focus on getting to know each other better. What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I wrote a book about wine, but I feel like that's not going to work for you.
Why do you think that? I'm interested in learning new things and expanding my knowledge, including about wine. What inspired you to write a book about it?
I don't even know. This is so, I feel so weird.
You're on the other side of
I'm starting to think my girlfriend is not going to be very comfortable with this.
I can understand why your girlfriend might feel that way, but I assure you that this is just a friendly conversation to get to know each other better. If you're not comfortable continuing, we can end the call now.
Wow, that's a. All right, Masum, I think you've demonstrated something there.
Thank you, Ron, for this showing off what you got. And now let's see what Ivan got. Okay, so about your communication skill, it's important to avoid making inappropriate or insensitive comments during speed date conversation. Focus on getting to know the other person and finding common interests. Avoid bringing up personal relationship issues or concerns in dating or speed date conversation. This can make the other person feel uncomfortable and derail the conversation. Now you know. If you feel uncomfortable or unsure about a conversation, it's okay to politely end the call and move on to the next person because it's a speed date. And some preparation and attitude. But yeah. So that's speed dating. So as the technology progresses, this type of interaction is going to be a part of our everyday life in everywhere. It's going to come in more and more places in our lives. Why it's also important to think about the ethics. Like, I was surprised when Ivan asked, like when it came in the conversation that can you make a real bond over with an AI. So this is something that we would like to make sure that people don't get attached to this kind of technology. Instead, this becomes a platform to enhance your human abilities. Like if someone has social anxiety, or if you don't know how to do dating, we want our platform to be a place where you can practice your skills, so you can go out there and meet some real people. But we would prefer people not to be attached to the system and just start dating AI all day. So that ethics is very important to us, and we're consciously putting that effort. That's why we make it as a learning tutorial platform instead of a virtual companion, which a lot of other companies are trying to do. All right, so we will go back to our presentation, and now the platform exists. You can create content and you can post it for other people. But I know many people in this room, and many of us are creators ourselves, and many of us are entrepreneurs, and many of us have our own ventures. How do you use a technology like this inside your own product? Wouldn't that be great if you had a online business and your chatbot was an interactive, realistic virtual human like this one? So what would that look like? So let's see another demo. So every online store you go to, have you seen? Definitely you've seen. It's there is this dumb chatbot that doesn't really do much, and it's asking it any question is more confusing than getting the answers. So what if those becomes
I am a virtual assistant
much better.
designed to help customers with their shopping needs on bestbuy.com. Is there anything specific you need assistance with?
For that, we're working on something we're calling Sentient API, which is a software as a service where we will provide this virtual human as a service to be integrated into your platform, where in a one line of HTML code, you can take a subscription of our system and customize it based on your needs, put your knowledge, your business knowledge into the virtual AI, virtual human, and then plug and play into your product or your services. And then your customer will experience a much better experience, and they will come back to your service. So these two are our feature, a content and education platform where you can learn things interactively, where the system adapts to you. A content creation platform where you create content, but the content is entirely interactive and dynamic, and it changes based on the user. And also an API that will allow everyone to integrate this cutting-edge technology into their products and services without ever having to worry about the weird diagram that I showed in the beginning. So that's Sentient. And our product isn't, it's going to be live hopefully in a month, and you can go to sentient.io and submit the interest form and put your email address, and we will get in touch as soon as the product is live. So that's my presentation. Thank you.
Can you stay there? I'll grab this other mic.
I'm sure there's questions that the audience has. I've asked enough dumb questions already. Make sure. See if the guy. All right, there we go. So first of all, that's really remarkable already. Just in terms of where you've already brought this tech, it's amazing. I'm sure over time there will be an evolution in the AI teacher, the AI speed dater, the AI, the resume response. It will probably look even sharper in terms of marrying the language to the I mean, all that stuff I'm sure will evolve. I want to start by asking you why to do that in the first place, because I know there is some debate about whether there is a utility, a value in anthropomorphizing AI, or if we should go in the other direction to remind the users that those aren't people you're talking to. Can you give me your philosophy on that?
Yeah, that's something that keeps me awake at night. You can imagine. It's a harder thing to grasp. But it's not for every place. So if you wanted to do communication training, if you're socially anxious and you'd like to practice your skill on talking to people, you can't do that with a blank screen.
It's a very fair point. Yeah.
There, part of my research is AI and human-computer interaction. I think it as a step up, a next evolution on how we interact with computers. So imagine in the early days, there used to be only keyboard, and then there was mouse, and then we had laptop, touchscreen, and maybe VR, AR glasses. It's a form of interaction. But what's the most natural, fundamental form of interaction? How did we evolve as a species to interact with each other? That's the human interaction. So what if our interaction with computers is as seamless and flawless as the human interaction? So anything else other than that is unnatural. The first time smartphone came out, we had to find out how to press the button where the navigation is, everything. That's not natural. Everything else is an appendage. But the most natural way of human-computer interaction is human-human interaction. So we would like to live in a world where that option exists rather than a world where that option doesn't exist. So definitely we don't want it to replace your real human connection. Love your real friends and family. But also, if you have some job to do, use this as a tool.
All right, so I already see that I have so many questions that I'm not even gonna have time for. So I do maybe hope that you just come join us on Connections real soon. Can we do that? Okay, we'll talk to separately because a couple of things that come out. I'm just gonna ask a couple more and then we'll start right over here. I just want to say I listened to one of my favorite podcasters is the New York Times does Recline, and he recently said a couple of things that stand out watching his presentation. He said that he's got kids who are 3 and 1, and he thinks that they will grow up and they will have AI friends. That will probably happen. He also talked to Kevin Roos, who was a journalist a year ago. Kevin Roos was the guy who, I don't know if it was Bing, Max, or Kevin Roos was talking to AI, and the AI told him to leave his wife. I think it might have been Bing. So it's sort of infamously now. And the creators were like, we're not really sure why, but that's not what this is designed to do. And what Kevin Roos said on Ezra's podcast last week was, as they kind of look at a year in AI, was number one, with the interactivity stuff, whether it's dating or otherwise, if you have AI that's out there for personal interaction, it becomes 90% porn, that there's a big rise in porn with AI usage. And I appreciate the fact that you're putting these guardrails up, saying you're suggesting how this is being used. So it doesn't just go in that direction. You're actually looking, even in the speed dating, to try to put something functional and valuable out there. I want to ask if you think, and this is not a loaded question, I don't know what the answer is. Mental health is in a bad place in this country. People feel isolated. It's not just a pandemic. Sometimes tech helps, sometimes it does not. Do you think AI will be a net help to connectivity, mental health, AI friendships? Or do you think if people use AI to actually develop, forget porn, like romantic or friendships with AI that's not human, if that would be a net negative?
My therapist said yes.
Your AI therapist or your?
No, my real
Your real therapist?
So I showed it to my therapist and we were discussing that what it could be like. So I pay my therapist, my insurance pays $170 per hour. And he's a great guy, but I have had other therapists before who wasn't great and I had to leave them. And the AI technology we have right now today, something that I can whip out maybe in a couple of hours, is already better than many of those therapists who also charge like $170. And this kind of services you can get for maybe 30 cents per hour. So what if we bring the cost of knowledge and knowledge expression way down and make it vastly accessible to many different people. So some mental health support is better than no mental health support. So that can be helpful to a vast population, as we mentioned in this country, it's suffering. But there are some few things to be taken care of. The language model hallucination. Some other people did try for mental health, and one time the AI was telling a person to commit suicide. Or yeah, that actually happened, and it got a lot of negative press. So people are afraid of that kind of negative press. So the guardrails have to be very tightly controlled, and it have to be built by other experts in that field. But it's certainly a future that's likely to happen.
All right, the first question here. Okay.
I will always relish that moment where an AI avatar turned the table around and started interviewing Evan Dawson. That was what happened.
Yeah.
So I just want to let you know, we all know many of us are in the technology field. In 5 years from now, this is going to seem primitive.
Yeah.
Right. Another item is that, Masum, thank you for being open about your mental health. This is an interesting autobiography. I got to know Masum personally. There's an interesting biography here, and I encourage you, Evan, if you do bring him on your show, to explore why he's here in Rochester. He's among the best and brightest from Bangladesh. Why he pursued his postgraduate work at U of R in data science, who his advisor is. Have you done the I-Core program, Masum? Have you done it yet?
You have to bring it up in public.
The pressure builds.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's a story why we're here in Rochester and why Clinton's feature, and why Rochester is potentially positioned to be on the cutting edge of the development of this inevitable area in the field. So, please share more about yourself.
He is invited. Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't agree more. I want to thank you for this, because I'm sure at lunch and people will have more questions and more feedback, but this is absolutely fascinating. Thank you for being here, and let's give a hand to Masum Hasan. Now I have to do 15-minute break. We got a 15-minute break and then we'll come back. Okay, yeah. That's all right. That was great. Technology works.
Yeah, finally, that was very good.
Awesome job.
Thank you, Max.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thank you. Wow. Yeah, the demo worked. I was worried about that.
That's Tony energy.